Welcome to video number 9 in the 2024 Haltom City Election Season Series. There was only supposed to be 8 videos in this series, but in attending Cindy Sturgeon's dinner at the Diamond Oaks Country Club this week, she had a special speaker, disgraced former Hubba councilman and Ron Sturgeon and Trey Fowler fanboy Charlie Roberts. Charlie's speech was so full of lies and inaccuracies, with Cindy hooting and hollering at every turn, so much so that I felt the need to include an extra bonus video. Again, I'm Jason Steele, and these videos are to help you make an informed decision about your Haltom City Council candidates for the upcoming municipal election. Doesn't Charlie look a little bit like Joe Biden right here? In his infinite wisdom, Charlie said to Cindy's crowd, there's only 2 groups of people in Haltom City. The quote, end quote, employee political action committees and the political action committees for the business people. All you people who do your research on your candidates know why you're voting and who you're voting for. No, you don't. Charlie says these 2 groups, just these 2 groups. So if you didn't know this, you do now. This will be reason number 1 that I point out why you, the voter, sent Charlie home to sit on his ass on his couch on Monday nights and not on your council. Of course, this is complete BS. Most people in this city don't have any idea who Ron Sturgeon is, and many don't even know that the employees have any political activity at all. This is Charlie Roberts' patented Divide and Conquer 101. According to Charlie, the Business Political Action Committee just want to bring money and businesses into the city. The greedy employees want to take all the money out. The employees, they have a conflict of interest because the council members they support, well, they vote on their compensation packages, but not the business people. They just want to bring businesses to the city. They don't have a conflict of interest at all whenever they back a candidate. They would never have any conflict of interest, according to Charlie. Who are these angels trying to save Haltom City from the evil city employees? Gaze your eyes upon Charlie's savior and giver of his money to run for council, Ron Sturgeon. Charlie even mentioned Ron Sturgeon in a speech that he gave at Cindy's dinner. There's only one political action committee that has funded candidates that have opposed the so-called city employee political action committees, Team Tarrant PAC, which, if you recall episode 2 of this series, that was actually episode 1, was almost all money donated by Ron Sturgeon, his family, his friends, and his businesses. Ron has several businesses in Haltom City, including his Denton Highway property, where he wanted to be able to lease to an automotive repair shop and was told no. But there's no possible way there could ever be any conflict of interest if one of his candidates got elected and he wanted them to push that agenda again, right? No possible way he could have a conflict of interest the next time the city has to take action to make him clean up his filthy Midway Road property that we saw on that video, right? Not like in Kennedale when his funded council person approached city staff over his junkyard issues. There's no possible way that could ever happen, right, Charlie? Piece of shit. Don't forget, Charlie took $17,415.78 from Team Tarrant PAC last year to run for council. No wonder he's such a big Sturgeon fanboy, huh? Oh, and I almost forgot. Big point here. Charlie Roberts works in the automotive industry, the same industry that sent tens of thousands of dollars to Team Tarrant PAC that found its way into Charlie's campaign last year. But that's not a conflict of interest either, is it, Charlie? But let's check on Charlie's claim at Cindy's dinner that this business PAC, Team Tarrant PAC, just wants to bring money and businesses to Haltom City. I like your sign, Charlie. I know you love junkyard money. Here's list number 1 of the people associated with Ron Sturgeon on Team Tarrant PAC's 2023 donor list. So I see Weatherford, I see Fort Worth on there 4 times, Keller, Arlington. There's Mansfield twice, Irving, Azle. Charlie, I'm not seeing any businesses or people in Haltom City on this list of donors. I don't see them bringing any money into Haltom City. Maybe it's on list number 2. Let's go check that one. Well, this list ain't much better either, Charlie. There's only one person on here that's from Haltom City, and that's Ron's deceased brother, Don. Let's just stop the bullshit here, okay? None of these people own a business in Haltom City except for Ron Sturgeon. Many of these people don't even own a business, period. If you go back to the video on episode 1, you'll see they're all Ron's friends, all Ron's families, all Ron's business acquaintances. This is what Charlie Roberts does. He leaves out important details like these people don't have a damn thing to do with Haltom City except being associated with or related to Ron Sturgeon. But his speech made him sound so pure, so good. They're ready to turn this city right around right after they get done with church on Sunday. Now let's go look at those greedy, evil city employees now, shall we? Uh-oh. There are only 2 political action committees made up of employees from the city. The Haltom City Firefighters for Responsible Government and the Haltom City Law Enforcement Association. 2 terrible groups of people, right? Definitely not people you would trust in your worst time of need. Charlie's speech made it sound like the employees are taking payoffs from the back doors of pizza parlors in downtown Chicago. But I wonder why Charlie wouldn't use the words police and fire employees in front of that group of citizens. Oh, that's right, because the people in our community love their police and fire, so if Charlie leaves that part out. Because if he told that room full of our citizens that he hates our cops and our firefighters, they would have chased his ass out of the room. Classic Charlie. Charlie likes to sound very ominous, like the employees have full control of the city. But I'm sure his stance against the police and fire PACs has nothing to do with when they supported Brent Wiest and not him in 2020, when he, by complete fluke, won his November municipal election that was held late in the year in 2020 because of COVID. He was first on the ballot when Trump was elected. They thought he was a Republican candidate, and he won. That's the only reason he won. And it most certainly doesn't have anything at all to do when he lost to the police and fire candidates in both 2022 and 2023, even though he had 17 grand of Ron's Team Tarrant PAC money in 2023. Nothing to do with that at all. That's not why he's so butthurt. But Charlie made several of his patented half-truth comments at Cindy's dinner meant to insinuate that the city keeps raising more and more tax revenue, insinuating that the evil employees are the reason and the voters need to vote for the business candidates to fix that. But let's dig into what I call Charlie speak, where everyone else, they just call it bullshit. Using data from 2021-2022 when he was on council, Charlie said the city collected an additional $750,000 in tax revenue from the previous year. Charlie said this has happened every year for several years. Now, Charlie gave no explanation if that money was needed for streets, for police, for fire, for parks. No explanation at all, except he had just talked about those greedy city employees right before, didn't he? Charlie also didn't talk about any other factors such as inflation, new growth, or the Tarrant Appraisal District raising property values. Charlie just threw out that the out-of-control city collected an additional $750,000. In relative terms, $750,000 of new revenue for a city is not a lot of money. Haltom City has over 46,000 citizens and over 2,000 businesses. If all things were equal and you use the simple math of 750,000 divided by 48,000, that's if everybody took an equal share, 46,000 citizens and 2,000 businesses. That would be $15.62 for each citizen and business for the year. But if Charlie would have told that crowd that it cost $15.62, it would have had no impact, right? If he would have said, hey, this is going to cost you $1.30 a month, he would have been laughed at. But tell a room of people that it costs $750,000, and people start clapping and they start yelling and wanting pitchforks to fire people and take their mob crowd to City Hall. But that's the simple math, and that's not how it works, and Charlie knows it. Properties pay based on their value, so the more valuable the property, the bigger share of that burden they pay. So let's look at a couple of examples. This is 5030 Anderson Boulevard, one of the new warehouses on 820. It houses Midwest Supply and Hose, Johnstone Supply, and Wholesale Electric Supply. It has brought in dozens of jobs, millions in sales, and most importantly for this example, over $15 million in property tax value. It first came on the tax rolls in 2021 and it was valued at $10,459,092. And in that first year, it brought in $67,529 in new property tax money that you don't pay. So already we've got a hole in Charlie's argument. $750,000, we'll use his example. He didn't get any more detailed than that. There's $67,000 of it right there, Charlie, and you can't figure out where it comes from. In 2022, the same location, the value went up to $15,870,000. Now, in that year's tax rate, the taxes that were collected by the city were $96,515. Using Charlie's example again, there's $96,515 of your $750,000, Charlie. Oh, but $750,000 off the back of the citizens. That's what you let them believe. That's what you sit there and lied to the citizens to their face. Now, I know what Charlie's argument is because he can argue about anything. Well, that wasn't new because it was the second year it was on there. That's a difference of $28,986 from the first year it was collected to the second year. So if you want to get into that argument, that's still an additional $30,000 in new revenue in that second year. So there's $30,000 of your $750,000 right off the bat. Now, the question that some people are going to have, and I want to make sure that I try to help people out with this, why did their taxable value jump up $5 million in 1 year? Because in the first year, they were probably taxed on an empty building. But when those buildings get filled up with things like equipment, goods, that is taxable. So when that gets taxed, that property value goes up. And you can argue if that's right or wrong, but in this case, it benefits you, the citizen. Their increased property value offsets your property value, and it allows the city to lower your property tax rate. This is why your property tax rate is trending downward. Charlie Roberts, Ron Sturgeon, Cindy Sturgeon, they all play the semantics game with the TAD valuations. Sometimes that actually makes your actual taxes collected go up. But the city has nothing to do with that. They have no idea what TAD's going to do with your valuation. They have to set their rate based on the budget that they're trying to hit. They have a big amount of what TAD says, hey, this is what we're going to give you, but they don't know that your individual property is going to go up 7%, 3%, or 60%. So when you hear people talk about the city making your taxes go up, the city sets a rate. TAD sets your property valuations. We've been over this ad nauseum, but you still have people like Ron, Charlie, and Cindy playing games like that when they know that they're lying. The city's not doing it. Here's another example. This is 4251 Northern Cross Boulevard. It houses Metafast and Win Parker Logistics. Again, it has brought dozens of jobs, millions in sales, and in spite of the lies from jackasses like Charlie, yes, we get sales taxes from some of the orders. But even if we didn't get a single dime in sales taxes from any orders, the jobs and property taxes are a huge asset to the city. The building shows to be appraised as improved for the first time in 2021. That year it was valued at $13,449,655. And in year one on our tax rolls, it brought in $86,837. Again, I don't know where that money's coming from. There's $86,000 of it right there, Charlie. Again, let's do some simple math. This building and 5030 Anderson brought in $154,366 in new tax revenue in 2021, the year Charlie's bitching about. He says he can't figure out where the $750,000 is coming from, so he just tells the citizens in that meeting, I don't know what's going on, must be coming out of your pockets. And then he tells the crowd, and he tells me the new growth has no impact on increased tax revenue. You know why he says this? Because he's a lying sack of shit. That's why. It's obvious. There's no building on these corners. There's a building on the corners. There's no money coming off of taxes off of these corners. There's let me pan down here. There's $154,366 coming off of those two corners. So obviously that's new money that we didn't have before. So if you're going off of Charlie's example of $750,000, there's $154,000 of it right there. But Charlie looks his neighbors in the eyes in these meetings with Cindy sitting there clapping behind them and lies to their face and says, this is coming out of your pocket. You got to control this. It's what they do. Let's move on to year 2 on this building. In year 2, it's valued at $21,950,000. And at the end of 2022, or at the 2022 tax rate, it brought in $133,491 in taxes. Again, people don't like the warehouses. They want, you need to decide, do you want lower property taxes or do you want an Applebee's? And Applebee's ain't going to bring in nothing even close to that. Whatever restaurant you want to name, it ain't going to bring anything close to that. Now the restaurants are going to come because you got all these people there that's got to eat. So the increased property tax valuation of these 2 buildings alone in 2022 brought in an additional $75,640 for 2022. Again, I say additional $75,640. I didn't say that was the total amount. The total amount collected, because this is the second year, that was $230,006. The $75,640 was the additional amount from the previous year. Why do I say that? Because Charlie, if you don't take away every loophole and say, well, that was already on the tax rolls, so that's not new revenue. Okay, here's what you need to understand: that if these warehouses that people like Charlie bitch about weren't there, you would make that money up to ensure that the city's budget was sound. And how would you make that up? By the higher city property tax rates. Okay, the last video, if you haven't watched it, about Cindy Sturgeon, if you go in there, you see Kennedale, sky high tax rate, 3rd highest in the county. Fort Worth, I believe they were 10.5 cents higher than us. Mansfield, 9 cents higher than us. All because they're not doing the same things that we're doing. Okay, so these are the cities that Ron Sturgeon say we need to be like, and this is Ron Sturgeon's candidate, Cindy Sturgeon. This is her guest speaker. They're all the same ideology. So you need to decide how you want to run your city. And those are just 2 of the large warehouses that we have. We have at least 8 that I can think of spread across the city. And that same process has happened at the new warehouses across the street from MetaFast on Northern Cross, the new warehouses off of Menace, the new warehouses across from Ron's event center that he apparently can't see when he holds the events for his puppet candidates, the warehouses off of Beach and Meacham, off of Carson that were built a few years earlier. It happens on a smaller scale when smaller businesses like Excel Construction open, or the smaller warehouse shops over off of Higgins. It happens when Hibbett's, Sports, Gomez Western Wear, City Trends, Ollie's, or any of those types of business occupy an empty suite. When they're empty, the tax rate is one way. When they're occupied, it's taxed at a higher rate because it's got inventory and equipment and whatnot in it. And it will happen again and again as more and more businesses open, like the H-Mart development and the smaller warehouse developments that surround it. Yet Charlie Roberts sits there lying to his neighbors' faces, looking at him in the crowd about where most of that tax revenue has come from, the additional tax revenue. When former Councilman Grow and myself tried to call Charlie out on his bullshit, there was Cindy Sturgeon sitting in the back, shutting down the truth. Charlie ignored growth, he ignored inflation, and Cindy shut us down when we tried to call him out on it, and telling us, hey, we aren't having any of that here, and tells Charlie, and I believe my quote's right, but you'll get to hear it, get back on point. You can hear it for yourself, what happens right here.
She gets elected, this is what she has to do. She has to look at all these departments. What do they want from the money? What is it they're trying to get? Their job as department heads is to get as much money from the budget as possible. That's the way it works. That's business. Okay. On the other side, you've got the business people. They're trying to get things set up so that business will come into the city and put money into the coffers. And so that's really kind of what you're voting on this election. And when it comes to what would you cut, well, where does the money come from? These are documents when I was council. This is 21-22 budget. This budget created almost $750,000 more than last year's budget. This is what they're collecting. Okay? Every year it's been like that for the last 7 years. The city is collecting more and more revenue because the property taxes keep going up. Okay, ever since 2012, when this report I'm looking at, where's 12.4 square miles? In 2015, we were still 12.4 square miles. Today, we're still 12.4 square miles, and yet we keep collecting more and more and more money off of the property tax. My question is, what are we doing with the money? Everybody here has a concern. The city looks bad. We can't get business coming in. You know, well, where's the money going then? I don't hear from you, Walter. We're not going to turn this into an argument. But thank
Well,
you.
I'm going to tell you where it's at. Everybody here is feeling the same effect. It's called inflation. The fact that the city is a business and has to purchase stuff just like everybody else. So that's where the money's at.
It seems kind of odd because I've heard that too.
It
We're
is.
going to blame it on inflation.
It's
If you
Trump.
drive east
It's
on
Trump's fault.
820 from Hotham city limit, is inflation hit there?
Yes.
Are they building at Ruth Snow?
Yes.
And- Right, okay, so look, if you go west of the Hotham city limit, are they building out through Saginaw, out around the west side?
Yes.
Okay, if you go north on 35, are they building?
Well-
So yeah, there is some recession stuff that's going on, no question, that hurts some things. Why is it hurting us worse?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, but how about all that new building up to the $1 billion in new growth, and you're not accumulating that into the new revenue that's coming in?
No, Jason, and remember, you're a guest, you didn't even RSVP, so please be
But
respectful.
you're asking
I'm a
questions.
citizen, and I was invited here by text.
You still have to RSVP, and this is a private event, so be respectful.
If you can't defend your
Hey,
stance, we'll talk about
no, we're
that.
not gonna have that,
Okay.
okay? Stop, all of y'all. Now,
So,
you just go
so,
back on point, we're not gonna have that, we're not gonna have that, okay?
so when you
So after watching that video, I'm going to do a real quick impression of Charlie going through Haltom City per that what you just heard. All right, here I go. Walking down 820. I can't see that $15 million warehouse on my right heading towards North. I can't see that Holiday Inn. I can't see that new fire station on Denton Highway. I can't see that new warehouse across from Ron's Event Center. I can't see our park that we're about to really spend a lot of money redoing for our citizens. Oh, I'm in North Richland Hills. Look, they're building a Chick-fil-A in a gym. Why can't we build anything? Haltom City builds nothing. All right, I'm going to go back. I'm going to turn back around. All right, I'm going to go. Oh, that Holiday Inn's still not there. No warehouse across from Ron's. No $15 million warehouse. No $21 million MetaFast. Oh no, don't look left, don't look left. Oh, there's no $100 million H-Mart development with 3 more warehouses. All right, I'm at Beach Street. Oh, look, Fort Worth's building a self-storage. Oh my God, they have a homeless transition housing project. Why can't Haltom City build anything? Oh my God, Haltom City builds nothing. I'm going to go on down to Saginaw. Oh, Saginaw's building a few fast food restaurants. Oh, why can't Haltom City build anything? That's how ridiculously stupid Charlie Roberts is. He ignores everything that Haltom City has done and then talks about a damn Chick-fil-A. He talks about Ruth Snow. You heard it. Ruth Snow. They're building a Chick-fil-A and they're refurbishing 2 old buildings into a gym and a pickleball court. We're getting a brand new pickleball kingdom. I have to get straight here. Brand new pickleball kingdom. People are developing a brand new building in Haltom City, and hopefully we're going to get that truck yard. That's really early. I'm not going to promise that one. But that's what's looking at here, and you see Blind Charlie here. He's ignoring all of that because he's a damn liar. He's a damn liar, and this is how Cindy wants to present the city to her supporters. Ignore everything good about Haltom City. Talk about how beat down and run down it is. Talk about only the empty suites. Talk about only the places where we need work. There are a bunch of malcontents, and Charlie's the lead malcontent. But on top of that, Charlie's a liar. I forgot to put a slide here, but I am not recording this over, so you just get to look at me in a blank slide. As long as Cindy can control the flow of information, she can keep her people in line. Can't have them hearing the facts about all that growth bringing in money, can you, Cindy? That totally negates your whole businesses aren't coming here and we're not thriving argument, doesn't it? You have to have your friends and supporters thinking that the city is fleecing them so that you can get in office and relax all those ordinances that Ron needs, huh? Just like the one that Charlie will talk about next. Charlie gave an example of a local restaurant that had to pay $40,000 for their parking lot to open their business. Now, I'm not going to name the business like he did because I'm not going to get someone else involved in his crap like he did at Cindy's meeting. For a, quote, business-friendly candidate, Cindy sure didn't mind getting a local business owner tied up in simple Charlie's personal agendas. But what I will say is that it is on a major thoroughfare in near neighborhoods. Charlie makes the argument that we should not be making business owners pay parking lots because citizens don't care. He gives examples of some of the overflow lots in Roanoke and off of Magnolia Street in Fort Worth. Here's where simple Charlie pisses me off. Where in Haltom City do we need overflow parking for our 60 restaurants all squeezed together on Main Street? We don't. What works for Roanoke doesn't work for Haltom City. Welcome to Charlie's redneck vision of Haltom City. As I sit typing this on Saturday, April 20th, it has been raining like hell all day. This is what Charlie's unpaved parking lots will look like on a day like today. Then on your major thoroughfares, the pickups that could still manage to get into the parking lot are going to track mud all over your streets, which will be there for days until your tax dollars pay to clean it up. This is what happens when Simple Charles is in charge. And Cindy thinks his ideas are so good, she invites him to speak. Cindy and Charlie talk out of both sides of their mouths, but if you listen close enough, you hear it. They say parking lots are too expensive for business owners. That's why businesses aren't coming here. To begin with, our commercial vacancy rate is equal to or better than surrounding cities. So this statement is based on emotion, not fact. Secondly, if you want some cheap-ass business to come in with an unpaved parking lot, you're not getting a better-looking city. Charlie basically said at that dinner, people are concerned with the poor image of Haltom City, then turned around and said, let's allow shitty business owners in who want to go cheap with unpaved parking lots, and y'all clap for him. I don't know what to do if y'all can't help yourselves. Finally, I'm going to leave on one more note. Charlie says the employees are the bottom rung, lowest tier. He even did the hand motions in his speech at Cindy's dinner. Least important factor in our city. So all you employees take note. This is Cindy's guest speaker, and he thinks very, very poorly of you. And police and fire packs, we're the scourge. Charlie wants to make issue of the fire and police packs getting politically involved, but let's see how the city has fared since they started getting involved politically in 2014. This slide is from a presentation given by Assistant City Manager Sedona Faust regarding the drop in our property tax rate by over 13 cents per $100 valuation. But of course, she's probably lying too, right, Charlie? Notice it sticks right at 0.699990 until 2017-2018. Anyone remember who got voted out of our council in 2018? But that's about the time that the police and fire packs were active, 2014, coming down to 2013. Looks like a pretty good result so far. This is the warehouse at 5030 Anderson with Johnstone Supply, Midwest Hose and Supply. And if you'll look, this is current date up here at the top. And if you look, I don't remember if this 2016, 2014, it's an empty field. Again, the Medifast warehouse, current date, and around the time that we became politically active, it was an empty field. The Retail King warehouse, current date, on the top, when we became politically active, again, an empty field. These are the Bell Rock Upper North apartments up here on the top. And again, back around the time that we became politically active, an empty field, another empty field, a lot of empty fields. These are the warehouses off of Beach near Meacham, over by Tyson Foods. Current date on the top. Around the time we became politically active on the bottom, another empty field. Are you starting to see a trend? This is a warehouse off of Old Denton Road. Again, current date, nice developed property on the bottom, empty field. This is the warehouse / shop development over off of Higgins Lane, right at 28th Street that Ron Sturgeon lied about. Again, present date, nice developed property, bringing in tax revenue, property tax revenue, possibly sales tax. I don't, off the top of my head, know what type of businesses are in there. But when we were just starting to get politically active, you can see an unattractive fenced-in vacant lot. This is a nice little business over off of Beach Street. It's actually more developed than this right now. It's finished out. And you can see the little business that it replaced. It might be the same business, but the little business of the little building. This is a nice little shopping center over off of Belknap, and I'm intentionally putting some of the developments down south because of the false narrative that nothing ever happens down south. This is current date, and this is about the time down here on the bottom where we became politically active, another vacant field. This is a property that's been built and replaced this property down here, this old building down on the bottom. This is a building that Ron likes to use in his pictures as part of his propaganda campaign, showing that it's empty. It's only been built in the last year or so. So again, new development on the top, old building it replaced on the bottom. Current day, down on the bottom when we became politically active. This is a nice new building over on Belknap, just past Denton Highway. Nice building on the top, vacant lot on the bottom. Same time frame. These are the warehouses over off of Carson Street on the top, the nice warehouses that Ron lied about, saying they lost $300,000 in property value when they've never been for sale. And that's current date, or at least 2023. And down here on the bottom, it's the vacant lot that they were when we first started getting politically active. This is the expansion of Liberty Carton on the top, current date. This on the bottom is the not expanded Liberty Carton, about the time that we first started getting politically active. On the top, you're looking at the Heritage Village neighborhood that's going up, that's just booming up over by our library and our new city hall over off of Spring Lake and Haltom Road. And on the bottom, you're seeing the vacant field that is being built on about the time frame that we started getting politically active. And finally, what you're looking at here is the High Point neighborhood over off of Haltom Road near 820 on the top. And again, another vacant field sitting there about the time that we became politically active. Now, before anyone thinks that this video is trying to take credit for all the successes that the city has had, that is not even what this is about. This is not to take credit for the work that our council and city staff has put in to secure and get these businesses, neighborhoods, apartment complexes, everything that we've gotten. This is not to take credit especially for our volunteers, like on P&Z, all of our volunteer boards, especially not our planning department for all the hours that they have put in going over these meticulous files. Our code enforcement officers that have to go out and deal with all that they have to deal with. Every city department, every volunteer, every city staff member, especially the ones that have to deviate their time to deal with the crap from people like Charlie Roberts and Ron Sturgeon when they could be doing real city work. They put in so much time and effort. This is not to take away anything from them, okay? Everybody's played their part. So why did I put all this stuff on here? Because we have always had these people working for our city. But why did we suddenly turn around about 10 years ago and really start to accelerate around 2017, 2018, right about the time that the police and fire packs first got active, and then really got active in 2017, 2018? And I'll tell you it straight up, it's because we took out the trash. That's why. We opposed Charlie's business people, council persons who comprise the good old boy system, your Trey Fowlers, and Charlie. I'm going to throw Charlie in there. I'm going to leave some of them out because they're being quiet and they're not getting involved in this. But they're there and they know who they were. The people that kept taking care of themselves and not our city, we took them out. We supported and defended good council members. They came in and they broke up the corrupt EDC that we had. They took the EDC properties that sat stagnant for years. And now you're seeing the development and the progress that comes from it. The people that are on your council now, they're not out there trying to profit off of EDC property. They're not selling it to their friends who are developing it. That happened. They're not taking care of themselves. They're your neighbors. The reason you're seeing these developments, the reason that you're going to have a pickleball kingdom looking around trying to develop, the reason that you have an H-Mart coming, the reason that you have these businesses coming is because your neighbors are now in control of your city, not Ron Sturgeon, not Trey Fowler, not their little puppet boy, Charlie Roberts. There should be no discussion whatsoever about putting another one of their puppets on your council. And it's sad that people fall for and believe the stuff that they're told. That's why I can only do what I can do with the video. Some of y'all got to get out and talk to your friends. And if you can't convince your friends, you need to get out and you need to talk to your smart neighbors and you need to cancel out some of those other votes. That's all you can do. We got the trash out of the way so that our city employees, our volunteers, and our council members could do their jobs without intimidation, without threats, and without favoritisms. And now you're seeing those results. So, and I'm not going to be modest about that. We did. We took knocks for it too. We took a lot of knocks for it. So it is what it is. We did that part of it. One last thought before we go. A little bit of history for some of the people that may need a little catching up. Charlie Roberts got into local politics because of Trey Fowler. When Trey Fowler was getting shown his ass out the door due to his arrests, his inability to keep his driver's license, and his lies, and his intimidation and his threats, he tried one more time with a group that included a city employee that was fired for theft and Willis. After that little attempt failed, he talked his number one fanboy, Charlie, into running because he was one of his few friends without an arrest record or a history of unethical behavior that could run. Why do I bring this up? Trey is Charlie. Charlie is Cindy's hubba running mate from last year. Charlie is Cindy. Cindy and Charlie are Ron's paid puppets. Cindy and Charlie are Ron. Ron is Cindy, Cindy is Charlie, Charlie is Trey. They're all inbred, they're all part of that good old boy system. Like Ron says, I've been here 50 years. Yeah, they're all inbred, they've controlled your city for years while it sat stagnant. They've all done this for years, and you saw the results then, you see the results now. And there's a saying that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If you elect Cindy Sturgeon to office with her deep roots to this good old boy system, and I know she's your friend, some of them she's your friend. You're going to vote for your friend or you're going to vote for your city, and that's up to you. If you vote for her and you expect anything other than more car repair shops and automotive businesses, you're delusional. Charlie Roberts is a testament to that. If she wanted something different for this city, she would not have had Charlie Roberts with his record of unethical behaviors, his substantiated ethics complaint, and his unabashed support of automotive-related businesses and unabashed support of Sturgeon and Trey while on council and while off council. You wouldn't have had him speak at your event.